What's up, all my 1QB Dynasty players? This is a running back tier list for anyone starting in a Dynasty, or your running backs are in shambles and you're like, hey, I can compete. Let's make some moves. Starting with the Minnesota Vikings new running back, Aaron Jones. I think he's a perfect fit for starting backs with great upside. I think he burnt a lot of people last year because he is getting to be, older in his career, and he's looking a little injury prone with that hamstring injury, but I think there's still some upside there. Next, we have Alvin Kamara. I think he absolutely falls in the same tier. He's getting a little older, but he still has really great upside. Both of these guys, if you can get them for cheap, I would go get them for cheap. I would not spend a bag on them or early picks. Next, we have potentially the best or second best running back you can get. Bijan Robinson, I'd probably say the best just because his age. Absolutely insane upside, and that's why he's going to be our number one back for Dynasty. After that, we have Blake Corum. Really odd situation he's in. He went to the Rams. I think if you have Kyron Williams, you absolutely need to draft him and pair them together. Who knows if Kyron Williams can stay healthy? When he's healthy, he's an absolute bell cow back. I think Blake Corum might steal some touches, but we're going to put him in the needs to prove it category. After that, we have Breece Hall talking about some of the best running backs in the game for Dynasty. This is a guy that if you have him on your team can absolutely win you a league. And with his quarterback back healthy this year, I think the sky is absolutely the limit. After that, we have Brian Robinson. I think we saw some great flashes last year, but I think he's going to be under the starting back with upside. I just haven't seen enough. All the guys in this, I would say if you can go get them for cheap, go get them. Don't spend anything crazy on them. Don't take them really high in your drafts. Next, we have Christian McCaffrey. It took us a little bit to decide if we were going to put him in the best or top potential just because his age and his injury issues. But Christian McCaffrey is absolutely, undoubtedly a league winner. He's going in the best category. After that, we have DeAndre Swift, another back I feel like burnt a lot of people last year, and I think he definitely deserves to be in the starting with upside bracket just because he has all the talent in the world, but can he put it to use, and will his team put it to use for him? The Eagles kind of sold him last year. After that, we have David Montgomery. Technically, I would say a starting back. I think they split, him and Gibbs probably split 50-50. And really, the Lions go in with different game plans every week. That's why it's kind of scary to me that you could have him in your starting lineup and he just could not be part of the game plan. I'm going to put him with starting backs with great upside. Next, we have Derrick Henry. I think he is going to get some really different use on the Ravens. I think you're not going to see him used as much. I think he's going to be a great red zone back. I think he's going to be a really good first down back. And second down back, they're going to use him in different scenarios. I think he is going to be, I would still put him under great backs just because all the touchdown potential there. Next, we have Achane. I think if he stays healthy, he can be a really great back. It's just really, really, I feel like risky to take him super early in the draft. I really want to put him in great backs. Part of me wants to put him in starting backs with upside. We're going to take the risk because of his age, and we're going to put him with the great backs. Next, we have Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not even going to sit here and harp on this. The Cowboys just brought him back. Y'all know how I feel about the Cowboys. I feel like they're going to absolutely be in shambles this year. We're going to put him in the needs to prove it bracket. Gus Edwards, you can go join him there too. We're not going to harp on you. Isaiah Pacheco, I think he has really, really solid potential. And I think he's one of those guys that's going to struggle to put in between great backs and starting with upside. I'm going to put him over there in the great backs bracket though. Next, we have Jamar Gibbs. And the only thing keeping Jamar Gibbs off of the best line is he's splitting the backfield with an absolute dog in David Montgomery. So I think we're going to go ahead and throw him in top potential. Absolutely get him if you can. Absolutely. He's going to be the star. Like, he's going to be there for a long time. Absolutely amazing back. He's everything Swift was supposed to be, and he produces great numbers in fantasy. Next, we have James Conner. I mean, injury prone last year of his deal. He has great upside. Do not spend a bag on him. Do not draft him high. Get him for super, super cheap. Especially where is Trey Benson? We'll go ahead and do Trey Benson. Swear Trey Benson's not on this list. That's sickening. Oh, nope, there he is. Pair Trey Benson with him if you have him. Another need to prove it back. Next, we have James Cook. I think James Cook, and I'm so sick because I sold him last year. I sold my soul to get to a Super Bowl, and I lost that Super Bowl. I had James Cook. I sold him for, who did I sell him for? I sold him for Raheem Mostert and Mike Evans. I got to the Super Bowl. I didn't win the Super Bowl. James Cook produced a lot towards the end of the season. I think I'm putting James Cook in great backs. No, I'm going to put him in starting with upside, but he is really close to great backs. Get him later in the rounds. Trade for him for cheap if you can. Not have to wait for a bad game next season, but I would definitely trade for him on the low. Javonte Williams, I think we're going to have to put him in the needs to prove it bracket. Injury prone. I mean, the Broncos have just been in shambles. I would honestly stay away from any Broncos player if we're being completely, absolutely honest right now. I would rather have Javonte Williams burn me by not drafting him than draft him and him actually not do anything the rest of the year. Jalen Warren and Najee Harris will kind of pair them together. I think they could both go in the needs to prove it bracket, especially Najee. I would put Jalen Warren in the starting with upside, and I would put Najee down there in the needs to prove it. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so who knows where Najee will be next year. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens there. I traded for him on the low. I think he's going to have a really great season this coming season. Next, we have Joe Mixon. I just traded Joe Mixon. I think if you have him, you should trade him. I think he's getting older. I think he will do decent on the Texans. There are a lot of mouths to feed on the Houston Texans. Probably going to put him down there in the starting with upside. Ooh, my camera's blocking stuff. There we go. Next, we have Jonathan Taylor, another injury-prone back, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting him up there in the top potential. I feel like he's absolutely a league winner. The only reason I'm not putting him in the best, his injuries scare me. I know CMC has injuries. CMC, I think, is a lot better. I won't say better running back than Jonathan Taylor. I think he's shown us better fantasy numbers consistently than Jonathan Taylor, if that makes sense. I think Jonathan Taylor is one great season away from being up here. Next, we have Jonathan Brooks. Went to the Panthers. I think he has really solid potential. I can't put him in great backs yet because we haven't seen him. I'm going to put him in starting with upside just because he could absolutely have a great year. What is happening to my screen? There we go. I think he could absolutely have a great year, but I would be absolutely terrified to draft anyone on the Panthers. And I know y'all all agree with me on that. Next, we have Josh Jacobs, the Packers' new starting running back. I think that's a solid team to be on, young team. I think that's a good vet for them to have. I think that is a good, I think that's a good acquisition. I think that's a good grab after they lost to Aaron Jones. I'm gonna put him in a great backs just because I think he's really gonna produce over there. Next, we have Ken Walker. Shout out the Seattle Seahawks. That is my squad right there. I think he has all the potential in the world. I'm gonna put him up there in great backs, and I think Kyron Williams is gonna go up there in great backs too, just because the potential, and I think he could honestly be in top potential if he could stay healthy. Next, we have Nick Chubb. I would be honestly absolutely terrified to draft him or trade high for him. I think he could absolutely be a league winner. I don't know how he's going to come back this year. I could put him in starting with upside, but I'm going to put him in great backs just because I think, camera blocking it again. There we go. We're getting smaller, guys. I think he has all the potential in the world. I hope he comes back and has a great year. Next, we have Rachaad White. I'm not gonna lie, didn't watch a lot of Rachaad White last year. I think he has starting upside potential. I know he had a lot of games where he didn't do great. He had some games where he did good. Can't remember if the Bucks drafted a guy this year. I mean, all that being said, I think we can all come to agreement. Starting back with upside. After that, we have Raheem Mostert, oldest running back in the league, right? I think if you have Achane, you should absolutely pair them together. I'm not putting him in great backs. I could put him in. I'm not going to put him in needs to prove it because I think he's proved it. I'm going to put him in starting with upside. Do not give a bag up for him. God, please don't draft him high. The only reason you should potentially reach for him is if you have Achane and you want to pair them together. Next, we have Ramondre Stevenson, really solid back, injured last year. I think he's going to be under starting with upside. I can't put him under great backs just because I don't know how he's going to come back. Next, we have Saquon Barkley. And I think he's absolutely going to go in the top potential. The only reason I'm not putting him in the best, again, injuries. I think he can be the best. I think he's going to do amazing on the Eagles. So I think he's definitely a top potential back. Would I draft him early? Depends how your team's looking. I honestly don't know how far he's going to fall in dynasty drafts this year. I would grab Saquon if he's there and you have a later pick. Next, we have Tony Pollard. We're going to go ahead and throw you down here in the needs to prove it because you absolutely sold so many people in fantasy football last year. Zach Moss, we're going to put you down there and needs to prove it. And last but not least, we have Travis Etienne. I think he is a great back. I think he could. We were going to put him in great backs. I personally want to put him in top potential backs just because I think he has what it takes. I think he can put out really great numbers. And I think with the wide receiver core they have this year, they're about to be running a lot this coming season. But that ends our running back tier list. I hope this gives y'all a lot of insight. I hope this helps y'all in y'all's drafts. I hope this helps y'all with trades. Let me know if I have someone too high. Let me know if I have someone too low. Down in the comments. Don't forget, like and sub.